What is up, Packers fans, and welcome back to another episode of Packer Report TV. I'm your host and the publisher of Packer Report, Ross Uglum, and joining me right here from Acme Packing Company, my good friend Dusty Evely on a Victory Tuesday. How you doing, brother?
Brother, I am doing great. This is a fun game to go back and rewatch.
It was, I mentioned this on Packer Report yesterday. You guys can go back and read my film review. Starting to mix it up there and do some like breakdown videos that I don't post to Twitter because people have complained, everything in your film review you've already put online. It's fair. It is fair. So doing some exclusive stuff over there. And I mentioned, I thought this was their strongest performance since Dallas, right? I think, you can tell me the Cardinals are 2-4. I'm certainly making plenty of fun of the Jets and their fans, as mouthy as they were after the Rodgers trade for being 2-4. But they'd just beaten the Niners, and I just thought this was a complete offense, defense, special teams performance. What did you see on the film as far as, did you kind of agree, or did you see some of the same things?
Yeah, I agree. I do think, I'm trying to temper a little bit just because Love did have all day. Like this, the Cardinals pass rush is bad. I think Love had, it's like 2.8 seconds to throw on average, which is, I think, the highest this week. I think the highest he's had all year. There's times he's just sitting back there for 4 seconds patting the ball. So I'm trying not to take too much away from that. But that being said, offensively, like, there was stuff part of their core offense they couldn't run the last 2 weeks because of his knee, and they were running that, like the just even simple stuff. The play action bootleg off wide zone, they could not run from under center because of Love's knee, and they ran it multiple times this week. So it feels like the offense is kind of getting back to where they want it to be, and the defense, they just look more comfortable, dude. The pass rush, I think pass rush looked better. But dudes just flying around and is that just because Evan Williams and Javon Bullard are maybe in their right spots? Who's to say? But it's good to see a defense that is actually like attacking and seems like they know where they're supposed to be. So it was definitely a complete game that we haven't really seen from them so far, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree. I think the offense is so much more dynamic when you can run any of your under center stuff. Like, look, LaFleur can carve anybody up from doing almost anything, right? There's cool stuff out of the pistol for him. There's obviously cool stuff out of the shotgun, but he's of the Shanahan life, right? Like his bread and butter, and that's gonna be my play is from under center. Is his bread and butter is getting under center, doing some wide zone, doing some split zone, doing some, now they're even doing some gap scheme stuff, but he wants to get under center and then work play action from under center, because this, like, catch a shotgun snap, mesh play, that it's just not the same thing. It isn't. You're not showing the ball, you're not turning your back to the defense, you're not, play action is not as effective. And I don't have numbers to support this. I would guess that I'm right, but I don't have numbers necessarily to support this. Play action to me is not as effective out of the gun. It just isn't. I think it's more effective out of shotgun. I think it gives way more eye candy. And I'm going to break down the Christian Watson touchdown, because you know what? We talked about this before the show. This is what the people deserve. This is what the people want. This is what the people expect.
You're a caricature of yourself, dude. I love
it. Yes, absolutely. So if you're following along with NFL Pro or any other way that you would get film, we're talking about the second quarter, 4 minutes, 39 seconds. This is after the Evan Williams punch out, I think. I know it's the first play off a turnover. I know
I'd have to look. I think that's right. I'd have to look at that. I think that's right.
Could be the Carl Brooks punch out. They were punching it out. Not as many, obviously no picks yesterday, Sunday, but yeah. LaFleur talked about this play, and he talked about a sail route and the way that the Cardinals were defending the sail route, which is interesting to me because you get Tucker Kraft in motion here in certainly a way that you could run sail, which a sail is usually an outside vertical, and then either the slot or usually somebody more from like a wing position or a tight end position runs almost a flag. It's not an out. It has more depth than that because you're trying to throw the ball into the space, hopefully vacated by like a deep third or a deep quarters defender. You're trying to get it behind that second level defender because your primary defender has vacated that space. It's not really, to me, what Green Bay runs, because Kraft bends this inward. So they don't run sail. But
No.
I think what LaFleur had noticed was just how intent on Tucker Craft or intent on the tight ends the Cardinals were. By the way, and this is not a criticism of Kraft. To me, he was clearly not 100%. I think you saw that in his involvement in the offense. He looked like he was running in cement a couple times. He showed up late in the week on the injury report. I think he gutted that game out. I don't know nothing, but I think he gutted that game out. I don't know that he was a real threat here on this, 30-yard over, whatever the hell he ran. But what it did do was occupy the backside safety and created a one-on-one. And look, I love Budda Baker. I think he's a multiple-time Pro Bowler. I think he might be a multiple-time All-Pro. When Christian Watson gets to about the 35, I know it's over because Budda Baker, it ain't going to happen. He is not going to run with Christian Watson, who just eats up that cushion, eats up that space. I mean, we're even here at the 23-yard line. And Dusty, if we're even, what are we doing?
We are leaving, brother.
If we are even, we are leaving. Flatten out that post into the open space. What a perfect throw and a perfect route. And that was just absolutely gorgeous. Again, like when LaFleur said the word sail in the press conference, I had to go back and look. And it must have just been a tendency of the safeties because obviously this was not sail. No. If anything, it was sort of dagger because you see the deep inbreaker from Rome, which is often like the clear out from Watson for Romeo to catch that pass. But there's no reason to throw that ball to Romeo when, I mean, it looks as easy as it gets on paper. And like you said, or like I said, man, that is just textbook to run a post. You see, you have that space. Okay, I have that space. Let's flatten the route because that's where my opening is. And I mean, that is in the bucket. I'm now on the end zone view. And I get like Watson can kind of throttle up and down to make it look like a perfect pass. This was a damn good pass.
Yeah, it is. And it's one of those, like, if you're looking at it, I had seen some chatter that like this was underthrown or something. Like you're leading him across the field. You're not not every throw has to lead him perfectly into the end zone. Leading him perfectly in the end zone makes this a harder much tougher throw and a harder catch for Watson by flattening that out. It gives him a lot more room. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on the sale stuff. I was the same way. Sale is same side flood. Like this is not same side flood. This is I'd actually gone back and forth a little bit with our pal Peter Bukowski on this. My thought was this is dagger. This is dagger. That's
when he said sale, I was just okay.
They dress it up. The only difference is they dress it up with Kraft to tie up that backside. Like they don't normally run their dagger stuff that way, so they clearly want to tie him up. This is I've seen sale 1,000 times. This isn't sale. Like you said, it's more like this was a tendency for deep routes. The way that the safeties were covering deep routes, and he used sale as an example, but there's no sale here. This is dagger. It's almost like alerting the post on dagger, right? Like that's not a true option. The Watson throw is not a true option within the progression. That's the alert on dagger, but they saw something and went to it. Yeah, really.
But that's
really
the
nice
primary. Play. I mean, I'm on the end zone. I'm back on the end zone view here. I'm not that Love stares him down, but that's the primary. I mean, that's the throw he wants to make, and he makes it.
Oh, he knows. Like as soon as they split back, because the Cardinals are in what looks like single high, they drop into what I believe is quarter half. So as soon as he sees that, it's like, all right, man, we got middle field open. If Kraft can get that safety down, I've got this. And that safety declares like immediately. So he's like, all right, I just need to wait this out, then I can chuck this thing.
Yeah. Shout out to my cousin, by the way, who still, I think, has DirecTV or some other form of linear cable, and I'm a YouTube TV guy, so he's always a play ahead of me. And I got a text, and I looked down at my phone, and it just said pants off. And I knew what happened. I knew who scored, and I knew what it was going to look like. So it took a lot out of the enjoyment for me. But then after it happened, it was just like, whatever, this was cool. But yeah, shout out to my cousin Sean for the pants off text alerting me to throw them in the air because we just simply do not care. Dusty, give me your play. And it's not like a random incompletion this week. No deep cuts. We're playing the hits.
It's not a random incompletion. We're playing the hits, man. We got the second Dobbs touchdown. What we got. So this was the Cardinals are kind of creep back in at this point. This was, I think, the last touchdown of the day, third quarter.
The miracle ball.
This was the miracle ball. If you're following along, third quarter, 3:54 remaining in the third. This is 3rd and 4. So they come out 11 personnel, as they are wont to do.
As
Three
one
to
does.
as one does, three to the left, one to the right. They motion Dobbs ahead of time, so they end up going like 2 by 2. Cardinals have two safeties. Like when I say split safeties, I mean split safeties, but they're 6 yards off the line. So you're looking, all right, this is probably cover zero. I'm probably gonna have to get rid of this. They've got 7, 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, like 7 guys at the line of scrimmage. They could send all of them, and indeed they do send all of them. Packers leave one man back to block. So Wilson in the backfield. So you got 6 to block 7. The math isn't great. I love the concept, what they're trying to do here. Again, 3rd and 4, keep the ball moving. It looks like they're basically running a clear out for Christian Watson. They've got
Yeah, the
on the
backside.
left, it's Watson running a drag.
So open.
They just said Kraft, like, build a wall, basically. Run downfield, crash into bodies, build a wall, and then Jaden Reed's running like an intermediate stop to tie up bodies from right to left. And then Watson's just running a drag. It kind of plays out like mesh with a stop over the top. And then just, okay, ISO ball, Watson open on a drag. We need 4 yards. We got 4 yards. The problem is that they
I'll tell
send
you
all.
this though, and this is not just me being a Christian homer. He scores.
He scores. Yeah, I mean, listen,
Yeah, he scores
he
too.
at least gets the first down, but based on most of that action moving left, yeah, no, he gets a touchdown there. And I Love still wants to go there. The problem is that they send all 7, and so you've got this mash of bodies on the inside there. And if he throws that to Watson, he's throwing a little early, and he's throwing through the middle of the field where there's a bunch of bodies against the Cardinals defense that had a batted ball interception to seal the game against the Niners the previous week. So I think he just said, "All right, I'm not throwing there." He tries to buy a little bit of time, but there's a free rusher to the right. So he kind of like fades off the right, and then in the face just says, "All right, man, we got one-on-one with Dobbs," because Dobbs is the only one not part of the progression. He's running out and up from the right. I'm just going to chuck this to Dobbs. The options are like Kraft isn't a true option. Reed is in the middle, so you're running the same thing. If you don't like Watson, Dobbs is the only option. If you
Kraft
take
is setting a screen.
yeah, oh, he absolutely is. Yeah, he's not even looking for the ball. If you take a sack here, I was I was gonna say you're out of field goal range. They might be out of field goal range of the 15. So like I don't know. If you can't take a sack here because you lose out on a field goal, the potential of a field goal. So he's like, all right, chuck it. I'm chucking Romeo's down there somewhere. Romeo makes a really nice play coming back to the ball on that. But it's one of those, like, if you're looking at the decision, I'm fine. I'm totally fine with the decision here because the option is Watson. And if he can wait half a second, he throws it to Watson. But Watson hasn't cleared enough to really make that an option yet. And it's either take a sack or throw a ball up to Dobbs, hopes he makes a play. Dobbs comes down, make a play. I think like a nice play by Love, I'd say, under pressure and given all the factors there.
Yeah, obviously, we talk about it being a YOLO ball, being a moon ball, whatever. I mean, that was insane placement where that thing ended up. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's I just don't think anybody could have made a play on that. You call it a 50-50 ball. It's almost like a perfect back shoulder ball. And look, there could be luck that went into it, whatever. But that was perfect. Love the play design though, because like you said, I mean, if there is even one flick of the wrist to Watson, it's a touchdown, or it's at least a chunk. And
Mm-hmm.
then and that was just you mentioned before the game, like everybody knows how I feel about Christian, but I mean, outside of the back shoulder ish sort of spinny front pylon thing that wasn't, 3 targets for Christian Watson, 3 first downs, one of them obviously being a massive chunk touchdown. We're able to get him open again on this concept and just super efficient. Anytime
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to get him the football, it's super efficient. But Green Bay's offense was super efficient. Even like I said, I don't know that Kraft was a legitimate like option.
Yeah.
Then they lose Wicks. Then they, Reed kind of ankle deal on a punt return, whatever. There's just they never run out of options, which is crazy. I mean, they just never seem to run out of efficient, functional options in this offense, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. Defensively, we haven't talked any defense. What did you see from the Packers on defense?
I mean, I haven't dug too deep into there, but I like, again, to me, this is like this is not an overly complicated defense. This is, you're trying to get 4 down and go. I think they dialed back the pressure a little bit, which we kind of thought they were going to do. We saw some nice blitz stuff out of halfway the week before. They didn't do nearly as much of that this week because they do want to win with 4. I thought Van Ness looked better than he had, and I don't know about the Cardinals line that much, but I thought Van Ness showed some good things. Pass rush looked better than it had for a while, and in all, like I said, I think the defense looks more comfortable doing what they're supposed to do, but also you're getting bodies out there a little more. I didn't look at Edge Cooper snap counts, but I feel like he was out there a little more. Williams, I think this is the second straight week of him playing 100%. And he's in the safety, and you've kind of knocking Bullard down to the slot a little bit more, which felt like more his natural position anyway, given the other bodies they had. I feel like not only are they getting more comfortable as a whole, as a unit, I feel like they're starting to figure out a little bit more kind of how to use these guys. And as these rookies get more playing time, they're using these guys in a little more. It's looked really good. I thought it looked really good this week.
Yeah, I agree. I think someone's just so Pro Football Focus's top 2 graded safeties this year are Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams.
Yeah,
which is it's hard to describe the difference between that room last year and having the top 2 safeties in pro football. And look, I don't know if I'm willing to crown Evan Williams as the other first team all pro safety. I don't know that I'm ready to go there. I am ready to call that just an absolute home run swing and a super whiff by me in the pre-draft process, which like I've said before, unfortunately, that was more of a, you go look at his consensus ranking and it wasn't just me. And unfortunately, because of that, I didn't watch that many games, and the ones that I watched weren't super impressive, and I never really got back to him. And look, excuses, everybody's got excuses, and that's but it's nothing but an excuse. But boy, what a hit, because it wasn't just me that was wrong. Go look at Evan Williams' consensus grade. This has been an absolute home run swing by Goody. And the other guy, I tell you, taking a lot of crap. Rashawn Gary played really well. Rashawn Gary played really, really well. And again, like CJ Stroud is not Kyler Murray. He's not. I don't know if they're going to go full pin your ears back jet rush after him. But there are slower QBs coming at some point in this schedule. at some point, they will get to rush the passer. They will eventually get to play Detroit at some point, right? So, the pass rush I thought was effective enough. It was disruptive enough. Your goal, I guess, obviously is always to get the quarterback on the ground, but man, that's a tall task with Kyler. It just is. And so to consistently move him off his spot and just frustrate him, I thought was good work. And it's the second time in a row that they've had to play Kyler Murray that they've had a ton of success. So I think that's impressive to me.
100%. Yeah, it was funny because this was a keep him in the pocket, don't let Kyler get behind you. But at the same time, I don't think they really sacrificed their pass rush to do that. I think they were just more consistent in the lanes they were rushing from more than kind of a hold back approach, which we saw from them earlier in the year. They were getting more pressure than we'd seen even with this approach.
I agree. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching or listening. If you are on the podcast side, have a great rest of your day, and go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.